Everyone talks about time management like you have all the time in the world, as if, you're not trying to fit into your schedule everything that you have. For me, it's always been my classes, commuting, going to work, and my other responsibilities in life. For me, my schedule is already packed as is, and I know for many of you that your schedule is just as packed, and there's just really no extra time in our day. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to manage your time to the best you can. And I'm going to just give you the advice that I took in so that I am able to do everything in my schedule completely. If you listen to my first episode, I mentioned that I'm a commuter student, I work part-time, and I'm balancing a lot in my life: school, relationship, house, everything that there is. I'm trying to balance everything out. So this isn't rhetorical. This is what I actually do to stay on top of everything, or at least for the most part, try to. The biggest lie is that time management is about having more time, but it's not. It's about using the time you have and making it better. Because the truth is, most of us aren't really getting many of those free hours. So this becomes a little game. It becomes, how do you stop wasting the hours that you already have? And for me, it starts with awareness. Most people don't actually know where their time goes. It slips by them. It just goes right past them. Scrolling, waiting, transitioning between things. That's where the time disappears. And it's not easy. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to fall into these things. And I've just learned to prioritize, is what it is. Prioritize what is actually needed for your day-to-day, what's actually needed for your health, everything. Setting your priorities is key. If you are aware of what your priorities are and you stick to those priorities, it's going to become way easier to accomplish these tasks that you have day to day, just because you know what you want, you know what has to be done. And if you are mentally aware of that, it is going to become way harder to manage everything in your life. So I suggest being aware of what your priorities are. Priority number 1, number 2, number 3. Once you get a list of all that down, you will realize how much time you have to accomplish these priorities in your life. One thing that changed everything for me is planning my week before it even starts. Not just taking a mental note, but actually writing it down. For me, writing stuff down for me, I use a notebook to write everything down. What I'm going to do during the week, what I have to be done, what has to be done, everything. I have a little journal. But I know many others prefer a digital calendar where they can write stuff down on their computer. Pick your choice. It's either or. They're both equally good in my opinion. But for me, writing it down is way better for a mental note I can keep in mind. And I block everything down hour to hour, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and what I expect to be done by the end of that hour a week. So my block goes class, work, and then study time. That's almost my day to day on a weekday. I sometimes have to go to work right after. I go to the gym depending on if I have a lot of work. If I have the free time, I would just go right after school. Or if I have a lot of time, I just go in between my breaks, between classes. That's when I choose to go to the gym. And commuting obviously takes a large part of my day to day. It takes about 2 hours out of my day. So that's how I mentally take a note of everything, and I try to stick to this schedule every day. Because for the most part, my schedule does not change. I don't know how many of your schedules change frequently, but mine stays pretty consistent. So I really never have a trouble sticking with my plan. But here's the key. I treat these blocks like they're non-negotiable. It's not an option if I want to do it or if I don't do it. I don't have that option. For me, I'm going to do it no matter what. I have to do it at least by the end of the day. Everything else is everything else. If I get to it, I get to it. But whatever I have to do, it's a non-negotiable. I can't skip it. I can't brush it off. No, nothing. I have to stick to it. If it's in my calendar, it's very important to me, because if you can't control the schedule, your schedule is eventually gonna control you. You know, everything else you have to do is gonna be telling you what to do. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and you can't really stick to anything that you're doing. And when your time is limited, you can't afford randomness. You just can't. You just can't. Most people see commuting as a waste of time. You know, getting from point A to point B, it takes a long time, especially for me. For me, it takes, for the most part, always at least an hour going and coming back. Going an hour, coming back an hour. And most people see that as energy wasting, you know, just getting in your car or going anywhere outside the house and traveling for an hour. People see that as draining, as it's a waste of time, you know, especially if you're a student who lives on campus. You know, you just walk 10 minutes down to your classroom max and you're already in class, you know, just 10 minutes. But it doesn't have to be something negative. Your commute can actually be your biggest advantage in your school life. For me, as I'm commuting, I take the metro. I take the metro almost every day. So when I'm on the metro, what I do is I either listen to podcasts to help me get ready for the day, helps me focus in on what I actually have to do. I review notes, review lectures on my way to class. So that way, by the time I'm already in class, I'm already very well aware of what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be able to keep up with everything the professor's saying, and it's really easy when you review notes and then go to class. It makes the class so much easier. You're able to understand everything way much easier. And what I do is I also either, if I don't do either of those, I just take a mental rest. I either sleep sometimes or I just look out the window, because that's kind of one of the most relaxing parts out of my whole day. You know, I'm not doing much. I can't do much. I'm just on the metro. So it's one of the three that I usually do. And if you have an hour of commuting per day, that's 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month. That's almost a part-time job amount of time. It's almost the same amount of time you put in a part-time job. It's a lot, and it's a lot of time supposedly wasted, but like I said before, you can easily take this time to your advantage to catch up on anything you have. You know, this is your time. This is your time. So please take full advantage if you are one of those people who have to commute very far. And the last thing I'd like to make a note of is that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this, but time management isn't just about time. It's also about the energy you have. Because technically, you have time to study until 10 p.m., 12, however long. But by the end of the day, by the time it hits 10 or whatever time, you are exhausted. You have done everything in your power to just get through the day. And your day technically still isn't done because you have to go home, study up, or do whatever you have to do. And it's not easy. It's not easy, not one bit. So what I try to do is I do my hard tasks when I have the most energy. And for me, the time I have the most energy is when I'm in school during my breaks. I'm wide awake. I'm well aware of my surroundings. I'm well aware of what has to be done. So for me, those are the best times to do my hard tasks, my projects, my assignments, my quizzes. Those would be the hard tasks for me today. Or if I have the time, also the gym is also another very hard task of mine. I try to put 100% in. So if I don't have too many assignments or homeworks or anything like that, I try to go to the gym during my break, because that's probably my second most hardest task to do, and just save the easier task for later. If it's like you just have to complete an assignment sheet that's really easy, really simple, that you did in class and it's going to be easy, save that for last. It's not worth it. Use your full energy for the hard task and use a little energy for the little tasks. It only makes sense that way. And number one key for me to keep my energy up all the time is sleeping. Sleeping is also just another non-negotiable for me at all. For me, I cannot get through the day without having 8 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours, because I understand, and I know most of you understand, that you do have to sacrifice a bit of sleep just to get everything you want done that day. But my goal is always try to get 8 hours of sleep. So for me, sleeping, and I suggest for you guys as well, as a non-negotiable, you have to get your sleep no matter what. No matter what. It's healthy. It makes you feel way better in the morning. You're not groggy, nothing. Get your sleep in. That is the best way to have the most energy for your day. Yeah, and I'm glad you guys listened to this second episode, and let me know what you want to hear from